Before I tell you anything else, I need to say this clearly. Nothing I did was illegal. Nothing I did was loud. Nothing I did looked dangerous. And that's why it took me so long to understand what it actually was. If you're still listening after this, you might not like what it says about you, because this isn't a story about a monster. It's a story about a man who believed he was harmless. My name is John. I'm 65 years old, and this is the memory that followed me longer than any person ever did. By the time this story begins, my life was already quiet in a way people don't notice. No chaos, no disaster, no dramatic loss, just repetition. I worked long hours. I ate alone. I slept without dreaming. People talk about loneliness like it's loud and obvious. It isn't. Loneliness is polite. It doesn't interrupt. It waits for you to get used to it. Over time, it changes what you're willing to accept. It changes what feels meaningful. That's how space opens up inside you. And space always wants to be filled. I noticed her the way you notice a change in temperature. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just enough to feel that something was different. Her name was Lisa. She moved through the world like someone who hadn't yet learned how heavy it could be. Not careless, just unburdened. People spoke to her easily. Rooms adjusted to her presence. I told myself I was only observing. That age had made me neutral. That belief felt responsible. It felt mature. I didn't realize yet how comforting it would become. She spoke to me because I listened. That's the part people like to hear. It makes me sound gentle, but listening can be its own kind of action. She trusted me. I didn't earn that trust. I didn't ask for it. I simply accepted it. Trust has a sound. It's quiet. It's the sound of someone lowering their guard without expecting you to step closer. When that happens, you're supposed to step back. I told myself I was doing exactly that. But what I was really doing was staying still and letting the moment stretch, and stretched moments start to feel like permission. Loneliness doesn't make you desperate. It makes you reasonable. It teaches you how to explain things in ways that sound harmless. I told myself, she chooses to talk to me. I don't ask for anything. I'm just here. But just being here still takes space. And space, once taken, is difficult to give back. I began measuring my days by whether I would see her. That should have been my warning. It wasn't. We talked about our lives. She talked about the future, movement, opportunity, escape. I talked about the past, things already decided, already finished. That imbalance mattered more than I admitted. Being listened to feels powerful when you've gone a long time without being heard. I mistook that feeling for connection. And connection, once named, is very hard to question. Up to this point, nothing bad had happened. That's the part no one talks about. Stories like this don't begin with mistakes. They begin with explanations. I believed restraint was the same thing as virtue. I believed intention mattered more than direction. But direction is everything. You can stand still and still move towards something you shouldn't want. One night, she talked about leaving. Not emotionally, practically. A better opportunity, a different life, and something in me reacted before I could correct it. Not anger. Something quieter. Resentment. That was the moment I understood what I hadn't wanted to see. I didn't just care about her. I felt entitled to her attention. And entitlement doesn't announce itself. It disguises itself as patience. It sounds like, I've been here for you. I understand you. I didn't push. But none of those things are claims, until you start believing they are. I never asked her to stay. I didn't have to. I had already made her presence part of how I understood myself. That's where the damage happens, quietly, internally, without witnesses. She left soon after. No argument, no accusation, just movement, and I stayed exactly where I was. Life doesn't always punish you loudly. Sometimes it simply leaves you alone with accurate memories. Time passed. The emotion faded. The facts didn't. Here's what I learned too late. Restraint isn't about what you do. It's about what you allow yourself to feel without question. If you've ever enjoyed being needed more than you cared about where someone was going, if you've ever confused attention with meaning, listen closely, because that's where responsibility begins. And that's where most people look away. I wasn't the villain of this story, but I wasn't innocent either. I believed being quiet made me safe. I believed not acting meant not harming. I was wrong. Silence can still take, still shape, still linger. This wasn't a love story. It was a failure of responsibility that never asked to be forgiven. If this made you uncomfortable, good. Some stories should.